I've spent much of my working life trying to film big cats. I've watched them in the wild and analysed the footage in the editing room, which has given me a real insight into their behaviour. Today, we can see these amazing predators on our screens anytime we choose. But until quite recently, we knew practically nothing about them. Big cats are normally shy and very secretive. Today, their populations are shrinking fast. But now we have the means to view them in more detail than ever. And learn the intricacies of their lives. Which is just as well, because we need to find ways of living alongside them before they disappear forever. My efforts to film jaguars began 25 years ago in a place called 𝗏𝗏𝗃𝗏 Beach on Costa Rica's Pacific coast. When 𝗏𝗏𝗃𝗏 was included in a newly created Santa Rosa National Park in 1971, jaguars were rarely seen here, if at all. When I arrived to make a film about coatis, I knew that it was technically possible to see a jaguar and hoped to include it in the film. Over a period of 4 months, there wasn't so much as a footprint. I now realize that the presence of coatis and a pack of coyotes almost meant that by definition, there were no jaguars here. Incredibly, at the time, there was very little research about jaguars. Most of their behavior was a mystery. The first jaguar scientists struggled to get anywhere near their subjects. But the most elusive of all the cats. Until 10 years ago, it was practically unfilmed in the wild. Compared to the other big cats, it is one of the least well-known and most secretive. Crafty. Jaguars have spent far more time watching humans from behind a bush than humans have managed to spend watching jaguars. It's easy to confuse the jaguar with a leopard, but they're surprisingly different. At 50% heavier than the average leopard, with shorter legs and a much shorter tail, jaguars also hunt different prey. The presence of so many jaguar tracks suggests something unusual is going on. But filming wild jaguars is one of the hardest things I've ever tried to do. The latest high-resolution camera traps gave us a chance to see jaguars in the forest, but in daylight all they revealed were nervous animals. No jaguars. So we set up on the beach in the hope we could get a clear view at night. And waited, using only red light to see with and super sensitive starlight cameras to film with. Without a moon, it's so dark that even the bioluminescent glow of waves is visible. But the starlight camera struggles to see detail, and the thermal camera allows us to see anything that moves on the beach. A family of raccoons emerges to dig up turtle eggs. 𝗏𝗏𝗃𝗏 is a turtle nesting beach, which is one reason why the American crocodile is hanging around. But at this time of year, the nesting season is almost over. Generally, only a few single nesters come ashore. This is an olive ridley, the smallest of the sea turtles. They're much faster to nest than other sea turtles, so any predator has to find them quickly in the darkness. For a brief moment, the thermal camera on the cliff top spots a jaguar on the beach. It returns to the scrub at the edge of the beach, as if on the trail of something. My own feeble human vision can barely see the turtle at close range. Although cat vision is more sensitive, it's unlikely a jaguar could see this from a distance. But the distinctive sound of flippers slapping on the hard sand could be a giveaway to super-sensitive hearing. Human ears could hardly detect this sound above the waves, but I have observed coyotes react to small sounds in the surf a big deal. But the truly remarkable thing about 𝗥𝗲𝗋 is that it isn't home to just one jaguar. We now know that as many as 8 big cats can visit this beach in one night. And the biggest males will always take what they want. Small females have to give way when faced with a male twice their size. When there are few turtles, there is competition. And of course, it's not just jaguars they need to worry about. These cats don't like to be out in the open when they feel there's a threat. Now the male drags the turtle towards the forest. Jaguars have been known to eat almost anything and have been referred to as dustbins of the forest. Here they specialize in turtles. The cats were so relaxed we got to witness at close range their phenomenal jaw strength. Jaguars are said to have, even when they took their kills into thick undergrowth, we were still able to follow them with trap cams. The remote images reveal that each kill lasts about 3 days. And once the ants have found it, it's just too painful to eat. Unless the jaguar moves it. As the half moon rises just after midnight, the beach is transformed. As if on cue, there's a jaguar. It doesn't need to listen for the turtles now. It can see them perfectly well. As far as I know, this is the first time a wild jaguar has ever been filmed in moonlight. This must be one of the most relaxed big cat hunts ever. The kill technique is the same. The jaguar pushes the turtle's face into the sand so it can reach the jugular, which it cuts. As the jaguar laps up the turtle's lifeblood, the crocodile moves in for a closer look, but is wise to keep its distance. Now the jaguar starts to move its prize away from prying eyes. And it's predators like jaguars that create this behavior by preying disproportionately on the single nesters. The number of turtles is closely monitored, and we have a good idea of how many come every year and what their main threats are. Jaguars turn out to be way down the list. By dawn, the 𝗥𝗲𝗹𝗁𝗁𝗀 is almost over, some 500 turtles having already nested. 𝗦𝗂𝗯𝗀𝗡 is one of only 3 major olive ridley rookeries on the entire Pacific coast. That jaguars are back after such a long absence is great news for the cats, but perhaps for the turtles as well. Fossils have shown us that jaguars have fed on these ancient reptiles for hundreds of thousands of years. Jaguars are a natural part of this beach. By driving out the coyotes and coatis, which used to dig up many thousands of eggs each year, it's actually possible that jaguars have done the turtles a favour. There seem to be fewer black vultures on the beach than I remember from the past. And that's because they're all hanging around various turtle kills hidden in the forest. As far as I can see, the return of the big cats has changed the ecology of the whole place quite dramatically. Jaguar scientist 𝗥𝗲𝗹𝗁𝗁𝗀𝗀 has been watching the process for 35 years.
Cuando nosotros comenzamos era muy difícil ver jaguares, casi no se veían. Nosotros veníamos acá, yo tengo 30 años, 35 años de venir a Nancite, por ejemplo, y yo puedo decir que en los primeros 15 o 20 años nunca vimos un jaguar, nunca, ni huellas. Este lugar, por ejemplo, había mucho coyote, había muchos pisotes, habían otras especies pequeñas, pero sí hay más jaguares. Es un excelente indicador de que el bosque es más saludable ahora.
The fact that we can film jaguars at all is possibly due to the Nancite Turtle Project, and mostly to the work of one man. 𝗥𝗲𝗹𝗁𝗁𝗀𝗀 has spent most nights walking the beach for the best part of the last 6 years to count and measure nesting turtles. At first, there were very few jaguars, and they kept a low profile. But as the years passed, the cats became curious.
Siempre camino con una luz blanca grande y solo miro los ojos y me fui acercando, y me acuerdo que él Llegué como a unos 5 metros, él dejó de comer la tortuga y se vino por donde mí. Tuve que pegar un grito y yo estaba con mucho miedo.
He spent so much time on the beach with the turtles that the cats now regard him as just part of the furniture. Without his constant presence, it's unlikely that we would have seen a single cat. Some of the jaguars appeared a bit surprised to see us, but by the time we had spent a month there, others began to ignore us completely. I can tell you that if they don't want to show themselves, you will never see a jaguar. And yet here, this beach is utterly unique in the whole world, and having wild jaguars just walking 10, 20, 30 meters away has been one of the most extraordinary privileges of my life. With the help of radio collars, Eduardo and his team have been able to track the movements of the jaguars here to reveal that some of them alternate their time between 𝗫𝗫𝗁, where they hunt turtles at night, and mountain forests 20 miles away, where they hunt white-lipped peccaries during the daylight hours. And capybaras, the world's largest rodent, bask in the morning sun. This is where the biggest of all jaguars grow to 150 kilos, as big as a lioness. As with 𝗫𝗁 10 years ago, it was almost impossible to see a jaguar here, but the rise of tourists has helped them become used to people. And there's been a huge change in attitude among ranchers too. In the space of a decade, the cat that was invisible to humans can now be seen in the wild by anyone buying a ticket. But now they've begun to show themselves. We have a real chance to learn more about jaguars and perhaps find ways of living alongside them.